Fasting will change your life forever, and I'm gonna show you how in this video. It's one of those things where I need to explain in depth so you can understand what I'm saying, especially if you never heard about fasting in your life. I'm making this guide for the younger me. It's for the fat, little, nerdy looking, pudgy self. The one that lacked confidence, friends, social life, and purpose. The little kid that no one recognized and appreciated. I went from being a loser The second phase, as I like to call it my second life, is full of unusual stuff. It's unusual for the ordinary people to understand, but I'm not even trying to explain myself. Usually people from the older generations don't understand me, because almost everything I do is unusual for them. They're like, why are you competing in kickboxing? You're ruining your health. Why are you filming those videos online? Get a real job. Why are you only eating meat? It's not good for you. Why are you fasting? You're destroying your organism. Well, let's say I like to test my limits. In this video, I'm gonna be talking about intermittent fasting, and I can say with 100% guarantee that this is a life hack, and I feel like it's illegal to know it. I think that they hide it from us literally because it's a cheat code for everything. They just want to keep you sick and weak so they can use your body as a slaving machine. This hack that I'm about to reveal in this video, you probably don't even know anything about, and it's kept a secret from you, like I said, because it will develop superpowers for you. You know when you play the GTA San Andreas and you type the code IAZACME? Well, it's the same and even better. It's one of those things where the doctors will say it's not safe and it's not proven, but at the same time that same doctors are obese, unhealthy, broke, and their wife is cheating on them. When you are sick and you go to the hospital, they don't try to fix your problem permanently. They just sell you a medicament that will prolong your pain, but not fix your problem. Let's be honest now, if they just gave you the magic pill and healed you instantly, you wouldn't spend thousands of dollars on health. That's how the big pharma companies are getting richer every single day. And if the people are generally healthy and there's no problems whatsoever, it's simple. Just create some imaginary problem and sell them your magical solution, right? But let's not try to get banned from YouTube. You know, back in the day, our ancestors didn't order food from Uber Eats. They had to hunt. They had to wake up hungry and full of testosterone and go hunting straight away on an empty stomach. It's not like they had a mammoth every day in front of their cave casually waiting to be eaten. If you're someone who tried surviving in the wild, you will know how hard hunting is. Our ancestors were used to not eating for long periods of time. In some cases, they went days without food. And what are you doing now? Eating every 2 hours. You don't even let yourself get hungry. It's like a habit that you have to eat every few hours. What if I told you that your hunger is not actually a hunger, but addiction? It's like a drug that boosts your dopamine. What do you do when you're sad? Probably eat. What do you do when you're stressed? Probably eat. How do you reward yourself? With a good meal, right? It's all a big propaganda that you need to eat 3 times a day in order to survive. Most of the things you eat don't even have the nutrients to feed you. You eat processed venomous foods that make you addicted to even more venomous foods. These foods that you eat, the water that you drink, it's not good for you. What did you have today for breakfast? Cereal? You know what are cereal made of? Lots of sugar. And did you know that the least thing you want to eat on an empty stomach is sugar? If you don't believe me, here's what studies have shown to us. I'm gonna read this to you, by the way. High sugar breakfast, such as sugary cereal and pastries, can cause rapid spikes in blood sugar levels, followed by crashes which can lead to feeling of fatigue and hunger. Excessive sugar consumption, especially in the morning, can contribute to weight gain and obesity over time. Diets high in added sugars have been linked to an increased risk of heart diseases and other cardiovascular problems. High sugar content in breakfast foods can contribute to dental problems and is also associated with risk of diabetes type 2. We feed our kids this garbage every single morning. We are feeding our children poison. And you can't just eat cereal, you have to add milk in there, right? Do you know that the little number on the bottom side of the milk represents how many times that milk spoiled and was processed? For mine, it says 4 times. 4 times it's gone bad and they somehow magically managed to make it good for drinking again. Isn't that strange? What type of chemicals went in the milk in order to make it go from bad to good? We don't know. What do most people drink when they are thirsty? Coca-Cola, right? Have you noticed that Coca-Cola makes you even more thirsty? You know why is that? It contains lots of salt to make you even more thirsty. And then they hide that salt with even more sugar so it can taste good, which is even more poisonous. And you know what? You can find Coca-Cola in every single store, in every country, in every city, everywhere you go. You know what's even more crazy? When I was a kid and I was thirsty, my parents used to give me Coca-Cola. But because it was so carbonated, they used to put 1 teaspoon of sugar in it so the sparkling part went away. Can you imagine that? The 10 teaspoons of sugar in my cup wasn't enough, so they used to put 1 more to make it healthier for my throat. Oh my god, man. That's why it's important to get educated and avoid making fatal mistakes like this. And that's why I'm making this video, to educate you to change your life for better. Now, how can we make our lives better is to stop poisoning our bodies. If you want a real specialist to explain why sugar is so bad for you with facts and proofs, I will link a video in the description which totally changed my view on sugar. It's a longer video, about 1.5 hours, but I highly recommend you watch it after this video, because that video is the #1 reason why I stopped almost every sugar intake in my body, and why I managed to build a physique like this. So serious that I stopped adding sugar in my coffee. Yeah, I told you it was serious. Basically, in that video, the doctor explains how there are 2 types of fat in this world, and I'm gonna shortly explain that to you. There is the fat on the outside, which you can pretty much see in someone. They are bigger and you might think that they are not healthy. But what if I told you that the fat person can be healthier than the skinny person who has the other type of fat? I'm talking about fat that surrounds your organs. It's called visceral fat, and it's really dangerous for you. You might look at the skinny person and he will look just fine until the next moment he has a heart attack. It's that serious. You need to avoid having this visceral fat. Here's why. These are also facts from my research, let me read them to you. Visceral fat releases chemicals that can harm your heart, and it can lead to high blood pressure and cholesterol levels, increasing your risk of heart diseases. Visceral fat messes with your body's ability to use insulin properly. This can result in high blood sugar levels, which is a major risk factor for diabetes. And by the way, 1 in every 10 people have diabetes, and 1 in 5 people isn't aware of that. Visceral fat can cause inflammation in your body. Inflammation is like your body's alarm system, and when it's always on, it can lead to various health problems. Excess visceral fat can lead to a fatty liver, which can damage your liver and affect its functions. A healthy liver is essential for your overall well-being. Some studies suggest that too much visceral fat can increase the risk of cancers. And you know what's the scary part? You can't even tell if you have that visceral fat around your organs, because you cannot see it like the outside fat. Now I'm pretty sure you're asking yourself, how can we protect ourselves from all this? That's where fasting comes in. I've tried fasting not because I want to lose weight, but I want to keep myself healthy. It's proven that when we don't eat, the bad zombie cells in our body have nothing to feed on and die. On top of that, you're losing weight. These are my results from a 48-hour fast. I dropped 4 kilos or 9 pounds. And after that, I did 36-hour fast where I also dropped 3.5 kilos. And no, it wasn't expelling fluids of my body, because in that fasting period I drank a lot of water. I'm talking 5 to 6 liters per day. Here is the video of my full story behind my fasting experience. There I explained in depth about how I managed to go from never trying fasting in my life straight to a 48-hour fast without a single problem. Check it out after this video. Also, if you're someone who wants to lose weight and find it difficult, let me read you this study, and then I'm gonna explain how you can implement fasting in your life and enjoy its benefits. Let me read it to you real quick. Study participants were asked to either eat only between 12 and 8 p.m. each day or reduce their calorie input by 25%. After 12 months, both groups lost on average the same amount of weight, suggesting that the 2 weight loss regimes are equally effective. A study of 23 obese volunteers examined what happens after 12 weeks when participants only ate between 10 a.m. and 6 p.m. They could eat whatever they wanted during those hours. On average, participants consumed about 500 fewer calories, lost about 5% of their body weight, and saw their systolic blood pressure drop. And this is only from doing a micro change. Instead of their last meal ending in 8 p.m, it ended in 6 p.m, just 2 hours earlier than usual, and in 12 weeks they lost 5% of their body weights. So can you imagine what would have happened if those people heard about my full guide to getting fit? If they implemented every step I mentioned in that video, after those 12 weeks they would have been ready to compete in the Olympics games. Seriously, this full guide on getting fit is so valuable that other fitness gurus will sell you for $4.99. But you know me, I'm all about providing value to you and not asking anything in return. Except you to subscribe and share this video with someone you care about. I promise you, it will change your and their life for better. Now, we can get in the juicy stuff. Do you notice yourself waking up tired? You slept for 7+ hours and it felt like you weren't even sleeping. What is the point of sleeping if you wake up tired? It's better if you just stay awake and do your job. Maybe you'll get rich quicker. If only that was an option. Obviously that's not possible, but if you get a good sleep at night, then you can go out and get everything done throughout the day. The problem with you not getting rest from sleeping lies in the food you eat right before you go to bed. If you fill your stomach with food that is hard to process, then your body will have to stay awake for another 4 to 5 hours trying to process all that food you just ate. It can't just turn off and rest because there's a job that needs to be done. Your stomach is not lazy like you. When it has a job, it works until there's no more work. So basically, instead of you sleeping 8 hours, your body was awake for 5 hours processing that food, and in the end you end up actually resting 3 hours. That's why you need to stop consuming food after 6 or 7 p.m. I'm pretty sure you've heard that advice before, no food 4 hours before bed. But I'm also pretty sure that you didn't know why the doctors said that. Now that you know it, you have to implement this in your life in order to have more meaningful days full of deep work and hard work, without you being sleepy and tired all day long. This part where you don't eat anything after 6 or 7 p.m. is actually called intermittent fasting. Another thing that fasting is good for is keeping your mind clear. If you dug into the morning routines of almost all the successful guys you look up to, like Andrew Tate, Iman Gadzhi, Luke Belmar, Hamza, you'll notice that none of them actually has breakfast. Like I said, our ancestors didn't have Uber Eats or McDonald's or cereal to eat after just they wake up. So the first thing they did was the hardest part of the work, which was actually finding food. So they went out on an empty stomach, sharp as fuck, full of testosterone, hunting for the big buffaloes and mammoths. Let me ask you this, if you lock a hungry man that has not eaten for 2 days and a man that just had a huge meal and they had to fight to death so the winner can get out of the room, who do you think would win? The guy who just had a huge meal, all slowed down from processing the food, a little sleepy, that just wants to take a nap? Or the angry, sharp, full of testosterone hungry guy who will do everything to get out of the room and get some food? It's pretty obvious that the hungry guy will win. He has nothing to lose and is actually more hungry than the other guy. So why is your first step in the morning going straight to the kitchen looking for food? I can tell you with 100% guarantee that's not what Tate or Iman or Belmar or Hamza do. They are the type of successful people that don't eat anything until they get the hardest task of the day done, which is working on their business. After they did all that work, they have a really big meal full of protein, like steak, to reward themselves for the good work done. Fasting and not eating for the first few hours of the day will make you so sharp that you will automatically do all your hard work. Maybe for you it's studying, maybe it's writing, maybe it's creating videos like me. All the successful people use this formula, why don't use it too? No one is stopping you, it's free and it's like a cheat code. This is also known as eating the frog. Basically you do the hardest thing you have for the day first thing in the morning, and it's especially powerful if you do it on an empty stomach. Try it for a few days and come back to write your progress down. Another thing fasting is good for is obviously losing weight. I read the studies done with people who fasted and I told you how I lost a bunch of weight fasting, so I don't have to repeat myself on that. Have you ever had a stomach virus and your appetite was gone for a few days? After that, when you stepped on the scale, you were down a few pounds. Well, in fasting you have to replace your loss of appetite with your discipline and you get the same results. If you're someone who is obese or just wants to lose weight, fasting is the fastest way to get there. When you don't eat food, the body has to find source of energy so it can survive. In order to do that, it looks at your stored fat, usually around your belly, and your body is so smart to recognize that this fat doesn't have any other function, so it burns your useless fat to create more energy for you to live. Your body is so brilliant, you just have to let it do the job. Basically, by doing this, you are stopping your aging and becoming younger. When we are talking about losing weight, remember when I talked about the two types of fat in your body? Well, intermittent fasting is so brilliant that it also burns the visceral fat around your organs that is harming your body. Like I said, your body is so brilliant that it looks out for the useless cells around your body, like visceral fat and other zombie cells that just do harm, and it burns them. Also, when you don't eat for more than 12 hours, these zombie cells have nothing to feed on and they basically die. These zombie cells are the ones who create cancers and other diseases. Now that you know about the good things from fasting, I'm pretty sure you want to know about how to implement it in your life. There are three types of fasting and they have fancy names, but I'm gonna explain them so you can understand and implement them right away. The first type of fasting is, like I said, not eating couple of hours before bed and not eating couple of hours after you wake up. So you have a 16-hour fast and 8 hours of eating window. In that 8 hours, some people eat whatever they want, and don't get me wrong, that will do the job as well. But if you have a carnivore or keto diet like me, you will see lightning fast results. Basically, let's say you wake up at 8 a.m. and you eat your first meal at 12 p.m. So your last meal should be at 8 p.m. That's pretty much it. It's not that complicated. It's actually pretty simple. The next type of fasting belongs to the people who eat once a day. They have a 24-hour fast. I'm pretty sure Andrew Tate does this, where he eats once a day and he has a really big one meal where he eats a couple of steaks. This is a great method of fasting, but I don't recommend this for younger people like me who are in their 20s. Because we need lots of food, especially protein, especially if you work out. It's a great method for people in their 30s and 40s who are not really active every day and want to implement fasting. The results from eating once per day can show up really quick. The last type of fasting, and this is what I like to do, is eating everything normal and once in a while not eating for a day or two. For the people who want to drop pounds fast, it's recommended to do this once a week. For example, eating for 6 days straight regularly and then not eating the 7th day and repeating that all again. This is, I think, the easiest method because you don't really bother yourself with fasting and limiting yourself. At the end of the week, you don't eat for 24 or 36 hours or maybe even 48 hours if you can do it. Obviously, I don't do this every week because I'm not overweight, but instead of every week, I do this once a month. Usually when I fast, I like to go 36 hours of fasting because I found that to be the best solution for me. Keep in mind, I like to put on more lean muscle, so that's why I don't do fasting very often. Now that I explained the types of fasting for you and you've implemented them, it's really important to know what to break your fast with. Let's say you've chosen the once per week 24-hour fast. You haven't eaten anything the day before, so you wake up, go straight to the fridge and eat half of the things in there. You take out a shovel and you start digging in your fridge, eating everything that you catch. That is the least thing you want to do after a fast. If you break the fast with sugary food, fast food or any other garbage food, you basically won't see any results of your fast. The best way to break a fast is by eating protein, especially if you work out. Working out while fasted can be a great thing if you break your fast with lots of protein right away. When working out, you need lots of energy, so if the fat of your body isn't enough, your body takes energy by destroying your muscles. This is what happens when you're lifting weights. Now you may think this is not good for your muscles, but that's what workouts are for, literally destroying your muscles. After you destroy your muscles in the gym, it's really important to feed them with lots of protein so they can heal and become even bigger and stronger. That is also the best way to break a fast. So after the however long fasting period, you need a big fat piece of meat. No fries, no cakes, no sodas for your best results.